Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Benny and I'm a Nigerian YouTuber based in Budapest. If this is your first time seeing my face, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you stay. Kindly hit the subscribe button, like this video, share, comment, all that good stuff. This is a good vibes channel, so I really do hope that you stick around. So as you can see by the title already, today I want to share about personal boundaries. I felt like this topic was important to share because it can be quite tricky. Like, personal boundaries can be very tricky, especially if you didn't grow up as an individual with like boundaries per se. So situations where maybe parents didn't respect boundaries or didn't teach how to set boundaries, it can lead to being an adult who doesn't understand boundaries, who doesn't know how to set boundaries, who doesn't understand when boundaries are being violated. I have a couple of practical ways to set personal boundaries and actually ensure that they are kept. I really want us to understand that you can't control other people's actions. So even if you set boundaries, right, you are not in control of how other people are going to act. So the fact that you set a boundary does not mean somebody is not going to try to overstep their bounds, or they're not going to try to cross your boundaries knowingly or unknowingly. However, those boundaries are going to protect you from having to constantly deal with these intrusions in your life, going to help you navigate dealing with intrusions. So without further ado, let's jump in. You can't talk about personal boundaries without talking about self-awareness. It's practically impossible to set boundaries if you don't know yourself. If you don't know what upsets you, if you don't know what makes you happy, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you want, it's going to be very hard, dare I say impossible, to actually set these boundaries that we're talking about, because you don't even know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you can hardly respect yourself, and if you don't respect yourself, it's going to be very difficult to get other people to actually respect you, your boundaries, or your wishes. So my first practical tip, this is if you are a nice person that has a heart and finds it difficult to turn people down or say no to people, or just generally refuse people that are dear to you, right? It's important that you learn how to say no in the nicest way possible. Why am I emphasizing nicest way possible? Because if you don't say it nicely, right, you're going to end up regretting the way you said it, and then in order to make up for how you feel, the regret that you feel from saying it in a nasty way, probably end up doing that thing that you did not want to do, or giving that thing that you did not want to give. It may not even be that you don't want to give or you don't want to do. It could just be that you're not even in the position to do it at all. But then when you don't say things nicely, you're going to end up feeling regret. Now, the people I'm talking about are people that are dear to you. Those are people that you owe an explanation to. If you don't say this in a nice way, you're going to end up feeling bad, and then at the end of the day, you most likely will do those things just to make up for how you feel. And when you put it together, at the end of the day, you've not made any progress. You are still overstretching yourself beyond how you should be reasonably, and you know it because you said no in the first place, right? So you know it. Yes, you will do that thing to make up for how badly you feel, but then you will now feel another level of bad again because you didn't want to do that thing. You're only cheating yourself, and you should never do that for anybody or for anything. My second practical tip for setting boundaries, right, is to normalize not engaging in an energy that no longer serves you. Like, you may find yourself in a situation where, yeah, you used to roll with this energy, whatever the energy may be, but you've now gotten to a place where you feel like that energy doesn't serve you anymore. It does no good to you. All it does is take from you. All it does is drain you. It could be a person, it could be a situation, it could be anything. Honestly, normalize not giving your energy into those things. Like, when you're around these people, right, your energy doesn't just feel right. It's important to know when to push back. It's important to know when to say, oh, like, I'm not going to go to this function because these people are going to be there and I don't like their energy. Like, the energy doesn't serve me. It's important to know when an energy does not serve you and to just remove yourself from the situation. If like, it's going to be a family event and you know that some people are going to be there and they're going to annoy you, remove yourself from it. So if Somebody's going to say something to you about your weight, for example. Somebody's going to say something to you about your skin, or they're basically going to poke a place that really hurts you, right? Avoid the situation. Like, instead of going there and then getting upset or making a scene or just basically leaving with your energy drained, right? Just don't go. Literally normalize not engaging in an energy that doesn't serve you. Remove yourself from the equation is what I'm saying. So my next practical point about setting healthy boundaries for yourself as a person, this is more towards you as an individual, and it's to remember that you can't fix every situation and to just know when to leave things alone. It's important that you know when, like, a situation is beyond repair. It's important that you know when you can't do anything further to help a situation, and it's important to just understand how and when to leave a situation alone. Just normalize detaching from situations that you feel are now out of your control, out of your power. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no need investing your emotions in it, because if you don't set personal boundaries, right, you're always going to overstretch yourself. You're always going to find yourself doing the one that nobody sent you to do, because you lack personal boundaries. You don't know when to stop, especially when those situations start becoming toxic. When it comes to mental health, protect yourself. Listen, the moment you realize that you yourself are starting to sink as a result of being there, it's time for you to leave it alone. Save yourself and remove yourself from the situation. It may sound selfish, it may sound very mean. Later on in future, you realize that there really was nothing you could have done and you'll be happier for it. So my third practical point for setting personal boundaries, right, is to practice compartmentalizing your emotions and demanding it from people. What I mean by this is, when you have various aspects of your life, so many different things. You have your work or school if you're in school, you have your family, you have your relationship, you have your friendships, you have all these aspects of your life. Practice how to compartmentalize emotions. Say, for example, work isn't going so fine. That's one aspect of your life. You need to understand and not let it spill over into the other aspects of your life. And by this I mean, other people don't need to bear the brunt of one aspect of your life that is maybe falling apart. If your love life, for example, is falling apart, that's one aspect of your life, right? Your family members, for example, don't need to suffer because your love life is falling apart. You can lean on them, you can talk to them, you can share your pain and your burdens with them, with these people. That's why they're around you, right? But at the end of the day, if you are angry or you're upset or you're in pain, you don't need to transfer that pain to those people. When you start doing this, then you can demand the same from people. The fact that somebody is going through so and so does not mean they need to transfer that aggression to you. You don't need to receive that aggression from people just because they have whatever it is that is going on. So first, you practice it, you compartmentalize, and you don't spill over onto other people. In return, you demand it from relationships. How do you demand it? The moment you notice that somebody is bringing on the frustration of one aspect of their life and trying to put it on you as if you are part of the problem, you remove yourself. That is how you demand it. You remove yourself. If need be, you make it clear why you are removing yourself. That way, people will begin to learn that, oh, okay, I have this issue and this person is not part of the issue, so they don't need to suffer for it. They don't need to bear the brunt of it. They don't need to be dragged into the situation. That way, people don't extend bad energy to you or whatever. They don't bring things onto you, overstep your bounds, try to overstretch you, try to work your emotions because of one aspect of their lives. My next practical point for setting clear and healthy boundaries, right, is to understand that reciprocity is key and you shouldn't dish what you cannot take. If you respect people's boundaries, almost all the time there's a tendency that they will respect you. Obviously, there are some outliers who will try to test you. try to push the limits, try to, you know, see how far they can go, right? There's no ruling those people out. However, what I'm saying is, generally, if people know you as someone who respects people's boundaries, if people know you as someone who understands boundaries and gives people their space, right? Most of the time they will do the same for you, because that's how you relate to them. They will reciprocate the energy that you put out. So it's important for you to also respect other people's boundaries, to learn people's boundaries by, you know, what they say, the way they behave about certain things and stuff like that, and to act and move accordingly. Reciprocity is key. Don't dish out what you cannot take. If you cannot stand your, you know, business being discussed out there, or your business being shared out there, respect other people's boundaries and stop talking about their own business. Believe me, if somebody came to you with somebody's business, they will take your own business to another person. So if you can't stand it, set a clear boundary about how you don't like your business to be discussed, and as such, you would not like to discuss other people's business. The way you act around certain things, for example, if you're the one that's always bringing gist, everybody will know that you're a gossip. You have everybody's gist and you're always the one bringing it to dish out, then don't even expect that one day, if your gist comes out, somebody will respect your boundaries and say, oh, let me not spread her gist. No. Basically, what I'm saying is reciprocity is key, and don't dish out what you cannot take. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Follow me on my other social media. Everything is linked in the description box below, and I will see you guys in my next video.